We're going to bring the December 23rd combined meeting to order at 6:05 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brusher. Councilmember Coyle.
Here. Here.
Councilmember Hammers. Here. Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Petito.
Here.
Councilmember Pointer. Councilmember Shmuel.
Madam Clerk, please read the adequate list.
Adequate notice of this meeting is required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975, has been provided by the county notice sent to the homeowners to read and Charlotte and Disney Talk on December 12, 2023, and posted in the Lobby Municipal Complex on that same date.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. As we gather today, I have come to a conclusion at my term as a council member. I'm struck by a simple truth. No one truly knows how to do this job, or any job, for that matter, until they're doing it. You step into this role with ideals, plans, and a sense of purpose, but the real lessons come through experience, and you learn on the job, often by trial and error. We are, after all, only human, and to be human is to make mistakes. It's through these mistakes and the courage to face them honestly that we grow, adapt, and improve. My journey has been no different. There were moments I stumbled and times when a decision didn't unfold as I had envisioned, but every step of the way, I was guided by the commitment to serve this community with integrity and heart. Reflecting on the progress we have made together, I'm immensely proud of all the things we have accomplished. We have made extraordinary strides in expanding our bike paths. We have been granted 2 grants that are on the resolutions are on tonight. Our parks have undergone improvements and more enhancement than ever before, including addition of a brand new splash water park, a vibrant space that has quickly become a favorite for families and children. We have invested in infrastructure improvements at an unprecedented scale, and with more road surfacing completed in the past 3 years than ever before. For our senior citizens, we have expanded services in the meaningful ways. The Mr. Fix-It program now provides free minor home repairs, and our enhanced transportation service ensures seniors can reach their vital destinations in town safely. We have invested in, we ended the internet monopoly in town, bringing Comcast Xfinity as competition, a move that fosters both innovation and affordability for residents. Public safety has been a cornerstone of our progress by hiring the highest number of officers in 18 years, 199 officers in total. We bolster the safety of our streets. Additionally, Mayor Sam Joshi has advocated for New Jersey Crime Code, a transformative piece of legislation that has passed by both Senate and Assembly and signed into law by Governor Murphy right here in Edison. And finally, we have established the Art Commission, which I hope will transform our town to be more cultural and enhance, create a platform for our local artists and ensure creativity as a permanent seat at the table. But work is far from over, and the baton will soon pass to the next council president, and with it the responsibility and the opportunity of leadership. To my successor, I offer this piece of advice. Move quickly and decisively. And above all, be mindful of unintended consequences. The ripple effect of leadership are real, and the careful consideration can often prevent regret. Leadership is a privilege, and it's also a profound responsibility. But I also have no doubt that this council and this community will continue to rise to the occasion, facing the challenge of creativity, collaboration, and resilience. Moving on to actually, we are going to be removing one of the resolutions, which is Resolution 717 from tonight's agenda, which is the resolution appointing Abadia and Ricky Singh to the library board. Yes, we're removing that. And We will move on to number 5, which is the presentation by our Veterans Committee.
Good evening. My name is Susan Del Conte, and I am one of the newest members of the Veterans Memorial Committee, and I wanted to welcome our veterans here tonight because when I took this volunteer position, I did it because I am the daughter of a veteran, I am the daughter-in-law of a veteran, I am the mother of an active Marine, I am the sister, I'm the sister of a veteran, sister-in-law of a veteran, and I feel that this is my way of being able to honor our veterans and make sure that they're recognized the way that they should be. So I have a presentation for you, and I have to explain that part of it's a little bit of a hybrid. Part of it is actually the original presentation that was created by 3 J.P. Stevens students, class of 2021, and I actually invited all 3 of them to come. They were not able to be here tonight, but I would like them to be able to come. Oh, are you here? Oh, you are here. I'm so sorry. They're here. Because this is really something that they spearheaded. It kind of lay dormant for a little while, and if you advance the slide, it was originally Mayor Lanke who commissioned this, and by the time Mayor Joshi got involved, he basically explained that there is an entire process that needs to go through, like a bidding process. And I guess the project kind of got pushed aside a little bit, and I was determined that that was not going to happen any longer. Now, I will tell you that as part of this Veterans Memorial Committee, I decided to go around Edison to find all of the veterans memorials, the parks that I could find. I think I'm up to 11 or 12 now, and my goal is that every single memorial and every single park will be refurbished, cleaned, brought up to the beautiful standards it should be to be able to honor our veterans the best way possible. So this is not the first, this is the first, but this will not be the last time that you're going to see me, just letting you know. Okay, so if you advance the slide, what you'll see is most of the colored slides are part of the original presentation, and we kept them the way they were, even though at this point in time, the pricing structure for a lot of them is old. This is even 3-4 years ago, prices have changed quite a bit, but we wanted to honor the original presentation. So if you take a look at slide, and I believe you all should have copies of the presentation, and there are extra copies of the presentation on the back table there if anybody in the audience would like one.
Council President, before you go
Yes,
forward,
sir.
there is an echo we are not able to clearly hear. I can hear the vibration in the sound. If you can please give the mic, because there are residents who are watching on the television, they should be able to
Absolutely.
hear that clearly.
Okay, all right, I'll slow it down a little bit too, maybe that. So we have the very first Veterans Memorial Park, which is on the corner of 27 and Stony Road. When we had Memorial Day, and we actually went there to honor our veterans. And it needs a little bit of work, and it needs a lot of updating. So the young ladies actually had created a lighting presentation and a slab to be placed in the park itself. Phase 1 would be the electrical work, and I'm hoping that that kind of stuff would be able to be done in-house. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure what the bidding process includes, because I know we have Department of Public Works employees who may be doing part of this work, and we also have the stuff that we would have to have outside bidders come in and work on. But their vision was to landscape, to add granite footstones that represent the different wars that we've encountered, and to add seating through benches. You'll see that the monument design includes 1 slab and 6 placards. We actually have the 6 placards already. The slab is, I believe, done, and it's at the fabricators. We just don't have it here in Edison. I think it's in Jersey City. Okay. There's a sketch of the monument. Now you'll notice that right now there are 6 flagpoles. We have to add a flagpole because there actually is a new branch of the military called Space Force. And it needs to be recognized, and it will probably need to be recognized in other parks and memorials in the future as well. Right now, obviously, Space Force has not been part of an official skirmish, so we don't have a granite slab for that yet. I'm hoping we never will, but unfortunately, I don't have much control over that. So if we continue on through the presentation, we have lighting. Right now, the lighting is about $2,400 per light, but again, this is 2021 pricing. And a lot of it depends on the available power there at the park. I have to say, it was so easy to create most of this presentation because those girls did a fantastic job. They really did. We also would like to be able to add, I'll let you finish that. Okay. The next slide actually talks about different kinds of lighting cycles that are available. There are 2 different options. And we also have the opportunity for landscaping. If you were at the park at Memorial Day, you know that this is something that we're sorely in need of. I do have a page toward the back of the presentation that talks about whether or not Edison has any kind of gardening club or horticultural club that would be able to give recommendations on different kinds of plants that would serve this memorial well. I'd like to get another club invested in this memorial. We also have different kinds of seating, and one of the previous sketches actually shows where in the park we would have available seating. I don't think it's appropriate for people to have to sit on the brick walkway walls in order to be able to sit down. Okay, here's the next slide, which is slide number 13, actually gives a sketch up of the seating. And this is where the next slide, which is slide number 14, is where we start talking about the costs. Now, I will tell you I am not a construction person, so some of this has been altered, some of these prices have been altered to recognize prices today as opposed to what they would have been 4 years ago. There would be 3 days of excavation. There would be some cement work. We would need to set the stones. That would be the 6 granite markers plus the slab. We would also need electrical. If you've gone to the Memorial Park, and I hope you have, you've noticed that it needs some work. There's definitely some repair that's needed in the park. There's some bricks that are actually missing, some are loose. The fountain was not running the last time I was there, and I'm not sure. Certainly it was probably because it was fall, but I'm hoping that all is functional. But if it's not, that would be something we'd have to figure in. We would have to add the additional flagpole for Space Force. The next page, page 16, We would need to reseed. If you take a look, especially just before you rise up to where the fountain is, there's a desperate need of landscaping there. Now, for replacement of flags, I have undetermined because, to be honest with you, I'm not sure if there are official flags that need to be flown there. I'm not sure if different military organizations donate flags. I really wasn't sure, but I did take a trip to the recruiting center that's on Route 1, just down the street from Stony Road, and asked them, you know, what they do, and they told me that they had never really been invited to anything in Edison as far as the veterans were concerned, but they would be delighted to be part, as much as they could, of the process. So I think that that would be a wonderful thing to be able to get them involved as well. And of course, on the bottom of that page, the park benches. Final costs, we have a subtotal of about $50,000. Our overhead fees and the architectural fees at about $12,000 for an approximate cost of about $65,000. Now, we were told that County Commissioner tomorrow would be willing to meet us halfway. And I think that between, let's say, $35,000 to $40,000, and of course that's an underestimate because, even getting a kitchen done, just because you budgeted it doesn't necessarily mean that's what the cost is going to be. But for, let's say, $35,000 to $40,000, I think this is an amazing way to honor our veterans, and I'm kind of almost embarrassed that we haven't started this sooner. But I think that this will probably be the biggest of the projects, and I think $40,000 is nothing compared to what some of our veterans have experienced, and I think it's a wonderful way to honor them. Now, the last page has different considerations that I kind of felt needed to be discussed. The first one I just mentioned, the County Commission will match Edison's funding. And I will have to be talked through the bid process because I've never done anything like that before. But I was told that there is a tree fund, and that the tree fund is probably going to help make up what we need to make up, the 50% that we would be putting. Now, number 4, I don't know if you can answer this, but I know at one time Edison had an architect who was on retainer. I'm not sure if we still have an architect on retainer, and if he is on retainer, how that alters that line item as far as the budget is concerned. I don't know about the replacement of flags. I don't know if this is something that has to be done annually, if it's done right before Memorial Day, or if it's, if it's something that's, up upon condition. Let's see, I think I mentioned number 7 and number 8, Space Force. And number 9 I mentioned as well. Now, what I did not add to this presentation, as far as the budget is concerned, are future considerations that the ladies really went above and beyond. They wanted to create storyboards to actually bring the memorial to life. And they also thought to add some kind of a gazebo to the project in the future. So those would be things that we would have to come back and revisit as far as the budget is concerned. However, this is a pretty good overview of what we're planning to do, what we'd like to do, and what we're hoping that you will assist us in doing. Is there anybody who has any questions?
I will open up to the council if anybody has any comments or questions.
Council President?
Councilor Quinn?
Just more along our comment aspect. I'm sure the Environmental Commission would like to provide input of potential plants, and if there is going to be utilization from the tree fund, since they kind of oversee that,
Absolutely.
just to coordinate with them as well.
Okay, can you get me in touch with somebody that I can?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Council President,
Councilor Smith?
I just want to thank Susan. I want to thank you so much for you're spearheading all of this, and it looks like you've got a great team behind you. Mayor Nami and Zaina, thank you so much for your vision with all of this. We have such a large presence of veterans in this community, and they deserve nothing less than what you have put down here. And so I really want to do everything I can to help see this vision come to reality. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, thank you.
Anybody else?
Councilperson.
Councilman?
Thank you, Susan, for spearheading on this presentation. And thank you, JP students who came up with the first proposal. I know this was in 2021. We are ending 2024. It's sad to see that we didn't make any progress. I think $60,000 or for that matter, $100,000 is not a big deal.
Okay, I'll put $100,000.
Absolutely. If you look at $50,000, if county is going to pay the $50,000, which is 1 month interest that we're paying for the Glendale property without use. And this $50,000 is nothing for the veterans, for your service to this nation.
Absolutely.
There is no price tag. There is no price tag that can be put in to honor our veterans. And I think this council should work towards budgeting not 50 but full $100,000 for the next year's budget to bring this project to the reality. Let's not dream, let's commit to make it as a reality. Other thing I would say that we have good talent pool in Edison. If we can, the way our JP Stevens student volunteered to come up with the concept of this project, I'm pretty sure we have many engineers, architects who will come forward and we can save quite a good amount of money. We have many landscapers, we have many certified electricians in this town, and just for the service to the veterans, just to honor them, I'm pretty sure if we do some outreach, we will get more volunteers, and not to stop at one project, but we can go to the another part and continue focusing on improving and giving back to the veterans. Again, thank you. And for all the veterans, thank you for coming.
One second, finish the, you want me?
I'm on the committee also.
Okay.
I'm Brian Schreck, also on the Veterans Committee. I am a veteran. We asked Sue to do this because she's not a veteran, to show that it's not just veterans want this. But with the tree fund, does it even need to go in the budget? We've been explained that the tree fund is earmarked for parks, so it doesn't even need to go into the budget next year. The council can just vote on it, and that's what we'd like, because budgets, we know what happens in budgets. Sit here, and in 6 months, we're still waiting for a budget to pass, and then everything else. But 100,000, we would love that. And again, it's $1. Charlie Tamara, Commissioner Tamara, has spoken with me multiple times, and he said, dollar for dollar, the county can do this. But they cannot do anything until you're sitting there. And he was the one that also approached us, saying the tree fund, because when he was a councilman in this town, that's what that was used for. So what we really like is to not wait another 6, 8, 10 months, and before we know it, the girls are graduating college and moving on. That it's a project that they started. We'd like them to see it. So our goal is to have the council vote the tree fund money and not have to wait for a budget. We waited a long time and things got put on hold, and this is our goal.
Absolutely. Councilor, you want me to answer the question?
Sure.
Yeah. Tree fund, definitely, this council can always adopt a resolution, but from the budget standpoint of view, you don't have to wait for 6 months to a year. If the council president, this council, if we push for the resolution to commit $100,000, and this can be prorated month-on-month basis, can be contributed towards your fund. So we can really start that process early on. We don't have to wait for the budget approval at the end of the year. Thank you.
And I've lived in this town a long time, in my entire life. I've seen budgets go for months on end before, that's our goal. We really need Our goal was to have this done Veterans Day of 22. Veterans Day of 22, and that never happened. Veterans Day of 24 is gone. It would be great to have it for Memorial Day. We understand it may not, but at least Veterans Day of 25, to have that park up and running the way it should be. The way that these girls went out of their way. And that's our goal.
Thank you.
Council President?
Councilor Floyd.
Just want to offer one suggestion, possibly one clarification. Because I understand trying to get things done expeditiously, and I'm not trying to put a damper on the overall feel for it, but just to be honest about it. Anything over, I think it's 44.5 in terms of any type of contract, like we have to go through a certain bidding process by law. Usually in regards to funds that come from the county, they come as reimbursable funds, so we have to allocate that first and then it gets reimbursed. So that kind of adds time to it, and I know that's not what you want to hear. Additionally, earlier this year, we did modify the tree fund ordinance because of certain concerns. So I know what the ordinance previously stated in regards to certain allocations. I would just make sure that it's still in line with how the current language reads, because there was an adjustment made. In terms of potential cost savings, we authorize replacement of benches along Amboy Avenue, which are like the iron wrought benches. If they have not been replaced yet, maybe we can salvage a couple of those to put in at the Memorial Park as a way to reduce costs and refurbish older materials. So, thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilor Floyd.
I just want to say great job.
Councilor Paul.
Yes. For the college students back there that are getting their master's degree now. Thank you for the time, very creative work. I remember when this was done on the council in your first presentation. Beautiful work. You should include an invoice to your favorite charity.
As for me, I want to thank you, Susan, again for the presentation. Thank you all the letters for being here. And thank you, Mira and Nani and Zaina. I hope this has been a great experience and you learned something from this project. And I do support it 100%. And I agree wholeheartedly with what Councilman Fato said. But I do want to add that for $100,000, I want that gazebo in there. Because if we add the gazebo, it will create a third space for people to hang out, and it will become a more useful space for everybody. And maybe it's nice weather, people can go there. I did ask the.
What we asked for is to do everything but the gazebo, basically.
Thank you.
And the storybooks. You give us that money, that gazebo.
We'll run with it.
So I asked legal counsel if I can do a resolution to start the process right now, but he did say no, because all money expenditures does come from the administration. So, but I will publicly, Sonia?
May I?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you. We don't necessarily need to wait for the tree fund. I'm sure we can grapple some, for example, recreation, capital bond ordinance or something like that to do it. What I would like is your plan, so I could work with both our DPW or engineering team to put together a bid, if you will, with all of your plans, and if they have any suggestions. So if you could provide that to me, we can get that out sometime in January.
Perfect.
Can we add the gazebo to that point?
Yes, we will.
And I would also like to say, can we use open space fund in this particular project? That's one. Can we use open space fund in this project? For this project? Because it is an open space if we have the gazebo.
It is, but we did plan for cleaning up our public spaces, including parks, and so this would fall under that. So I was just a sidebar with Mr. Roberts about having a healthy capital bond ordinance under recreation funds. So that's how I think when I would suggest to pay for something like this.
Okay. And would this be eligible for grants if we include the gazebo, which includes public space?
I can certainly search there to see if there are any grants. Again, this would be an upfront cost of the township, so if the county would want to reimburse us, certainly. I know the county does have a recreation grant out there. They do it on a yearly basis. We've tried to apply. We've been successful a couple of times, so we could look into that. But I don't think, to your point, Council President and the presenters, the funding is there and we'll be glad to provide that.
Okay, so I look forward to this by Memorial Day.
We'll put the bids together in January and have that out.
All right. Well, we're hoping Merry Christmas. I hope this comes true, this wish comes true, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Moving on to number 6, resolution of recognition. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution.
Whereas the Lions meet the local communities in the world every day because they share a core belief to serve their community. Whereas the Lions have a dynamic history. Founded in 1917, we are been best known for fighting blindness, but also volunteers for many different kinds of community projects that include caring for environment, feeding the hungry, aging seniors, and the disabled. Whereas Menlo Park Lions Club is a nonprofit organization established in Edison on September 23, 2014, with the intentions of serving the community for youth empowerment, family, health awareness, and hunger. Year 2024 is a milestone that calls for the celebration of the 10th anniversary of the club. Whereas during the last 10 years, the Menlo Park Lions Club established 2 Lions Clubs, NJ Fitness Lions Club and NJ Artist Lions, and the 2 Leo Clubs. Whereas Menlo Park Lions Club chapter member Varsha Nayak served as district governor during the Lion year 21 to 22. Whereas the Menlo Park Lions Club started the initiative Breakfast with Santa in 2014 and continue as the main fundraising signature project for both the club. The Menlo Park Lions understands several fundraising projects like the Love, Peace, and Harmony Art Competition for the Youth and the Cerebral Walkathon, and the proceeds are donated towards the Child Cancer Funds. Whereas the Menlo Park Lions Club conducts Zumba for diabetes awareness every year and is recognized as at the international level. Whereas the Menlo Park Lions Club donates winter jackets, school stationery to underprivileged residents, and food items to the shelter homes in Edison. The club also tries to help individuals with special required needs for medical help as well.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This will be open to the public. If anybody has any comments. All right, seeing none, negative. Motion.
Council President, just remind the public that this is any comments with regard to the lines only.
Only to the lines. Okay.
I believe the speaker has now said he would not be the speaker.
So now can I get a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
All right, that's a motion by Councilman Patel, second by Council Vice President. It's open to any council comments. Okay. All right.
Council President.
Council Winter.
Just trying to defer over. I'm very familiar with the Lions for better words, not only here but across the state and elsewhere. The community engagement that they offer is extremely valuable to the residents, to just the community at large. So, in short, thank you for your service to the community. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Anybody else? As for me, Lion Club was one of the charities that reached out to me to help refugees that came over from overseas and they needed help getting jobs, and they were helping them get jobs, get them situated, and empower them to essentially live a better life in America. This including getting them a car so they can drive around, and I believe they do great things that help settle families and anything else that the community needs. And I think I'm glad to have Lions Club in Edison. And thank you, Councilor Patel, for bringing this forward.
Thank you, Councilor. Sir.
All right. Councilor Patel will present the
Oh, yeah.
Let's do the roll call first.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Councilmember Patil,
Yes.
Councilmember Poyer,
Yes.
Council President Patel.
Yes.
I think we have the Lions president, Varsha Naik, and the entire crew of Menlo Park Lions. Just to give you information about the Lions, is the world's largest humanitarian organization with 1.4 million plus members, 400 plus clubs across the world in 200 plus countries. And Menlo Park Lions, this is the 10th year, and this is the resolution or a proclamation to acknowledge this service that this club is providing, not just for Edison, but across state of New Jersey. And thank you for your commitment. I have been part of many of the events. I myself is Lion of Edison Visionary Club. This is another club within Edison. We have a different intent behind these clubs, especially Menlo Park Lion Club, which is involved in very sensitive topics. Whether it is donating Halloween costumes for underprivileged kids, winter clothing, or Zumba for diabetic patients, or sari walkathon for breast cancer, and many more. I can name few, but many, many more. Again, congratulations for this big milestone, and keep up the good job, and hopefully you'll be here on 15th and 20th of your club anniversary. Thank you for your service. Council Vice President acknowledging and awarding the proclamation. All should be, yes. All the council members, please join us.
We would love to remember
Thank you. And what you want to say something about your club or anyone from?
First of all, I'm very, very thankful for this recognition. This club started in 2014 with the vision of youth empowerment and families' health, and we are keep continuing this program. And with the help of Edison Township, we would really like to go more 10, 20, why not 100 years, right? It's a community service, and we are very, very thankful for this recognition. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, and congratulations to all. Thank you.
So the Kiwanis Club don't have to get ready.
Alright, moving on to number 7, review of minutes. Any comments or questions?
Council President, I will be abstaining as I was not here.
Moving on to each departments, any questions? Moving on to number 8, just 8B, appointment of planning board. Any questions or comments? Moving on to number 9, 8 through G, any questions or comments?
Council President, on A, this grant is from is the old grant or new grant? I believe this is during the coronavirus CSFR funds. Was this something that was supposed to be in 2021, 2022, or this is because we are no longer in pandemic?
This is current.
This is current? But this is under CSFR, so that's what the question was. We still are eligible to apply?
Yes, we have an award letter indicating that we would get the funds.
So when was this awarded?
Just in the last month.
Last one, thank you. Thank you, Council.
Any questions or comments this item? Alright. I think altogether we have 2.5 million, right? Sonia, for employee action?
Yes.
So I think that's a good amount to start, and I think this would definitely help out with the infrastructure and the drainage that we need improvements on. Councilman Quinn.
In regards to the grants for the bypass, I just wanted to say thank you for your consistency in pushing for that. I know no one here hasn't seen what those plans are, but how it will connect, combining those two, how they would connect Edison High School pretty much through Central Avenue, I think is going to be fantastic for the residents. Thank you, Council President.
Council President, I have a question on G.
Yes.
These are all the 2025 professional services bundled under one resolution. I believe it's millions of dollars, right?
We've done it that way, yes, so we under one resolution for all the professionals.
Because to my knowledge, the first meeting of January, we put probably several dozens of resolutions awarding the different contracts and services to the different vendors. So I don't know how come this is a routine practice.
So we're doing our due diligence and doing it when we're supposed to. We should actually award these prior to the beginning of the year so that all of our contracts are up to date.
I understand that, but you just said that this is a routine work. I think we do that the first meeting of every year. But contrary, you said we are doing this every single year, which I don't look like.
Councilman, if I may, your meeting was not, I understand, until January 6th. Yes. I believe what the administration is attempting to do is make sure the contracts run from January 1 through December 31st of the year. This voting tonight will ensure that that happens. If we wait to the 6th, we will have lapsed on some of our professional contracts. Therefore, this is a preemptive decision on the part of the administration to make sure that we do not have any lapse in any of the professional services to be provided.
I 200% agree that should be any lapse. My question is, what the answer I got that this is how we do. This is not how we do. We always have a separate resolution for every single contract. I remember whether it's for attorney service, for the council, for the mayor, for any engineering service, it's a separate resolution. And that happens in the first week of, if it is a reorg, newly elected officials, we do it on the first January, and that's why there is no lapse. My question is not on that, my question is on the procedure itself. We could have a resolution. I'm okay with that. But saying that this is how we do it, that's a bad practice.
I understand your counsel, and I understand your concerns. I think that, if I'll say from a legal standpoint, the administration can present its professionals in any form. It can either be done, in some places it's done separated, in some places it's together. It is the prerogative of the administration to present it. I think you would rather have it broken up, and that's certainly the right of the council. However, it's the right of the administration to present it in this way to you.
I understand administration can bundle everything in one resolution and call for the party if the meeting is over. I'm not questioning about that. The question is, I may not be comfortable on voting some of those resolutions, some of those contracts, and that's a problem, right? We are boxing in, saying, hey, either approve everything or disapprove everything. There are probably 2 dozen contracts.
If you're not comfortable with voting for certain things, you can.
You can certainly, you need a motion and a second in order to remove any item from the resolution. And then obviously a vote in the affirmative.
I understand that, but again, this is the question of full transparency, honesty and transparency and the good governance. And this is where my objection is. I don't have objection in approving or disapproving, because we have the votes to approve it. My question is about the transparency, and hence, I'm not happy with the way this is being presented to this council. Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, Councilman Plato.
Council President?
Councilman Quinn.
I would offer, if the councilman would like to table this, I will support that, because this is for the period of April 1st, 2025 to March 31st, 2026. So we already have, based on previous extensions, up until March 31st already covered. So I don't see that we are actually in lapse coming at the next meeting with the same thing. If the councilman would like to do a bit more of a deeper dive in terms of the, particularly some of the newer vendors that are on there.
And Councilman, I did read that from April, but I thought there are maybe some of those vendors are from April and this are from January 1st. So I will leave it to, if it is everybody is from April, I would prefer, and again, hear me out. So this agenda was sent at 4:45 or 5 o'clock on Friday. we are on Monday, and this is more than $1 million contract we are talking about, which is very unfair to any council member to go through this and approve this thing in one shot. Thank you, sir.
I can answer to Councilman Porter's question. As far as legal services are concerned, yes, you are correct. I cannot speak to all the other professionals listed. Perhaps Sonia has some more information on that, whether anything's going to lapse in January. As far as legal though, you are correct.
I did cross-reference the list compared to what we authorized last year. So I understand what you want to mention, but even if that is true, my understanding is that we have approved those services until March 31st of 2025, based on previous extensions.
I'll accept your presentation.
Anybody else that would make a comment? All right, for me, the B and C, I'm really proud of Open Space that has pursued this, and I'm glad that we were able to get these grants. This will allow a kid from J.P. Stevens, actually, for kids to get to J.P. Stevens safely, and also if a kid who's at J.P. Stevens wants to go to the Papiani Park, or anybody that's at Central Ave wants to get to Papiani Park or to Edison High, they'll have a safe path to get there. So I think this is a great addition to the town in terms of mobility for those who do not have access to a car. Moving on to number 10, from the Department of Finance, A through G. Any questions or comments?
Council President?
Councilman Quinn.
For 10E, if I could ask Joanna a question. Thank you. And this is more of a refresher on my end. After fiscal year 2025, do the assessed values go back to what they previously were, or is the new assessed value what goes in the subsequent years?
There's normally a freeze act, which would freeze an assessment from the judgment for 2 years afterwards. It is stated on page 4, item number 4 of the stipulations, so that assessment will stay in place for 26 and 27 as well.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you.
Mr. President, I have a question. So for E, the settlement is only, so 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024 is no longer a valid one. Settlement is for 2025, that's correct? My question on F now, is this the FedEx property?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm surprised that, 2017, 18, it's a pure warehouse distribution facility. If you look at the pricing, in 2017, the warehouse was roughly $80, $85 a square feet. Today, it is $170 a square feet. So I'm surprised the business of FedEx has went up. The prices of the warehouses have doubled, not tripled. Yet we are trying to give the tax break. Not only that, this FedEx facility does bring a lot of traffic on the residential neighborhood, including 27. So I'm surprised that we are settling with this entity and not putting them in a court.
Well, Councilman Patil, if I can bring to your attention, the settlement is just for 2016. And to that effect, it's only for the 2 months of the added assessment. So there is no settlement going forward. They are actually withdrawing all subsequent years. So it is by our due diligence and recognizing that the values have gone up, that we stood our ground and were able to achieve just a 2-month of withdrawal of an added assessment due to issues that arose 2016. I was not here. And so it had to deal with how the valuation was placed prior to me getting here.
Doesn't this cross our 5-year timeline? 2016, we are in 7th year, 8th year of settlement.
And what is the question?
It's a 5-year, we have the threshold, right, to go back 5 years and...
No, there is no threshold to go back. So I'm not sure what you're referencing.
So
FedEx filed an appeal for the added assessment that was placed in 2016 and every subsequent year since then. So it's not something that we can go back retroactive, if that's what you're asking.
No, I'm not asking that.
Okay.
My question is typically we go, not typically, by rule, we go 5 years, until last 5 years to settle if there is anything left out.
Not necessarily, it's just the way it's negotiated. We were trying, this is one of the longest ones that's taken place, but it's because of the timeline at the court, negotiation efforts between the two parties. So, yes, I do agree it has taken long, but I believe that this is the best settlement for the township.
And are we paying the interest as well on that?
No, we're not if we pay within 60 days, that's the judgment.
And this is probably the last one in outstanding one from,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Moving on to number 11, from the Department of Health, A through C. Any questions or comments? Yeah. Moving on to number 12, from the Department of Planning and Engineering, A through E. Any questions or comments?
Council President?
Councilman Quinn.
Item E, normally, at least in my understanding, when we get a redevelopment plan, there is backup document, or there's a document that has the study that shows how it got to an area in need of whether it's rehabilitation or redevelopment. And then the redevelopment plan has additional information such as what type of bulk guidelines there will be, what type of permitted, prohibited uses, how does it relate to the master plan and other plans surrounding the township. I did not see that document, so I'm wondering if that is available.
Sonia?
So I went back and I don't have that, hasn't been done yet, from my understanding. So what we provided to you were the concepts, and that's what we currently have.
Council President, when it comes, I'll motion this to be tabled. Thank you, Council President.
Council President, I have a question on D. And probably attorney can answer. Is this the same property that the attorney came to this podium and questioned about halting his concept that he wanted to go through the project? I think it was some bakery project. I don't know how it went through back and forth. It's more than a year now on this project. Do we know the timeline when this? Mayor did send a letter, addressing that is this achievement, saying he was able to attract the bakery, which was totally wrong. Township was sued. In fact, that attorney came in here, present his plan, and why Township was not cooperating. So I don't know where this is heading. Are we giving a tough time for the redeveloper, pushing back on the timelines, or is this coming very quickly? Because this property is vacant there for years and years, and hopefully this moves forward. So my question is, what is the timeline that we are looking for this project getting finally approved in the planning board?
So Council President, if you could, your statement I'm not following necessarily, nor it may be correct in that the letter stated that there was quite a lot of blight in that area, and the initiative from this administration was to clean up that area, which was in fact done. It then had to go back to the planning board for this redevelopment to take place. So if our attorney has anything to add to that.
No, that's absolutely it. This redevelopment is I would say the second to last step in the long redevelopment process. From the designation of the area and the redevelopment to the adoption of the plan. Now the developer is willing to effectuate that. After this step, the last step will be site plan, which will go back to the planning board. But we cannot do that step until this council takes the step of designating a redeveloper with a redevelopment agreement.
Understood. My question is, how fast this is moving. This is crawling, not moving fast. And to answer Sonia, your question is, the attorney was in the audience who raised the red flag saying, I'm not getting the cooperation. I will have to go to the court if you don't allow me. He presented even the plan, what he would like to build or his client would like to build. So taking the credit for something somebody presented is not the right thing, but I will defer it for the rest of the question. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you.
Council President,
Councilor Clark.
if I remember correctly, this property has sat since I met Cheryl in 1992. Again, Councilman, I respect the order of process, but we all know we've sat in this council for 9 years. It's in a pretty good state. We forced the hand of the builder to do something, if something's being done. We never like lawsuits or process, but I think I knew Cheryl, she didn't have kids. Maybe just, and so 1992 to today, something's being done, so I'm happy we're moving forward and something's happening with that corner. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Clark. Yes, I was going to say that lot had a really broken down building for 30 years, so I'm glad we're moving forward and we're taking care of the blight in this town and creating something useful. Moving on to number 13, A through C. Any questions or comments?
Yes, Council President,
Councilor Westbrook.
the resolution about the purchasing rock salt, I wanted to find out what kind of surpluses we have on hand since we had relatively mild winters the last 2 years, and that would just help to know if we're enhancing the supply we already have. So is there anyone who can speak to that?
Sonny?
I can speak that, we're at full capacity, so it's pretty full. We're obviously getting into that time where we're going to be using it, as I mentioned to you before. One bad storm is about $50,000, so this will help us keep up with any potential storms.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And just so this is going to be purchased as you need it, right? Or is this going to be lump sum?
As we need it,
Okay.
because we make sure that we're at full capacity at all times.
Good. And moving on,
Council President?
Councilman Quinn.
Thank you. In regards to item B, resolution 737 on the Edison courts, phase 3, I'm happy to see the improvements. I would just ask if it doesn't upset anything from the bidding process. The original engineering spec for the Oak Crest Swim Club Park had for the basketball court and the tennis court, but these plans show for pickleball courts instead of the tennis courts. So I would just like to ask if we are able to convert that back to the tennis court and possibly implement pickleballs as a subset of the overall.
Like different colors. Yeah.
So, Council President, I completely understand your suggestion. However, this late in the game, we wouldn't be able to go out to bid again to redesign this. What I would like to do is, whoever the vendor is, we can certainly discuss any sort of potential changes that wouldn't so much deviate from what we need to potentially award tonight.
Okay, sorry, and if I was unclear, that's more the route that I was trying to.
So, yeah, I think I agree with Councilman Pointer, we should approve this, but looking forward, if we have a pickleball court, I think maybe just add an addendum to add lines for the tennis court. Just basically the same thing, but it will allow multiple people to use it for various things.
And just, sorry, Council President, just because of the, from the actual bid itself compared to the second lowest bid, this is actually significantly less, so I don't think we would have an issue in the sense of that if there was an addendum in this capacity, that it would have affected anything else. I mean, this bid is about $300,000 less than the next one, which is great in the overall sense. Thank you, Council President.
Okay. Moving on to number 14, A through C. Any questions or comments?
Council, just one B.
Yes.
This art supplies and handicraft, I believe, this is for ABC program, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Is there a way that we can work with the Board of Ed and have the shared service type of agreement? Because this is same thing probably they are doing for their school systems, and it will be helpful because I don't see any vendor from like Edison or for that matter close by Brunswick County. Most of them are from outside. I understand it's a bidding process, but it will be helpful we start collaborating with Board of Ed for the shared services on this. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilor Patel. If we can bring that up at the next liaison meeting, we can get something started.
Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on to number 15, A through C. Any questions or comments? No? Seeing none. Moving on to number 16, for the Chief of Fire, A through E. Any questions or comments?
Council President, on C,
Yes.
this SAP payment, we are contributing $1,000 per person. This is for recognizing the service for the length of service, right?
Yes.
Are they happy with this, with the length of service, the $1,000 a year?
So what this is a statutorily, and the attorney can correct me if I'm wrong, is based on what the state allows us to make a payment. One of the things that I just want to highlight, what I actually talked to Councilman Pointer about, was that the COLA did go up. So if it is the will of the council to increase it to that COLA, which I believe is $11.50, again, at that moment, if that's so you wish, when we were provided with this resolution, it only reflected the $1,000.
I would prefer to give more because it's a good thing to do.
Understood.
Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Patel. Any questions?
Council President,
Councilman Pointer.
yeah, I just wanted to reiterate, because I did look at the statute, is up to a max of 1,150, but that is something that I would be in favor of as well. Thank you, Council President.
Council President, is there a way that we can modify this today on this resolution? Just changing the amount from 12,000 to 1150 multiplied by 12.
Is that something you can do?
Amen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good. Councilman Pointer?
Just because I looked into it, how it was done previously, it was originally set by ordinance at $500. Then there was a resolution to actually allow the BOSTAT payments to be increased to the 1,000. So I think from a procedural standpoint, I understand the overall point, but I think procedurally we would actually have to have a resolution stating that we are allowing that match contribution to go from the 1,000 to the 1,150.
Okay, I understand that, we need the ordinance, but then I would not put the cap. I would say anything that is approved as COLA should be baked into that increase rather than fixing the amount. Thank you, Council.
I think we can, this is based on ordinance 1576-2007, so we can update that ordinance down the road and to take care of that. Moving on. 15. Moving on to number 17A. Any questions or comments? All right. I think we're moving on to the regular portion of our meeting. May I get a motion to approve the approval of minutes?
Motion to approve.
May I have a second? That's a motion by Councilman Pointer, second by Councilman Pointer. All in favor?
Abstain from, yeah.
Okay. Moving on to number 19. May I get an approval? Motion to approve the volunteer firefighters. Motion to approve.
Second.
That's a motion by Councilman Patel, second by Council Vice President. All in favor? Aye. Yeah. Moving on to number 20, which is the public comments on the resolutions. This will now open up. This will open up the public to speak on only the resolutions 711 to 754 minus 717. Anybody that would like to speak on the resolutions only?
Joel Bassoff, Beach Lane. It'll take 4 minutes to address 42 resolutions. Okay, resolution 737 regarding Edison courts, it's over $1 million. Can we just get an explanation as to what that's all about? It just, there's no way of telling through the resolution whether that's reasonable or excessive. Resolution 745 for vehicle purchase. I noticed that it seems that at each meeting of the council there's an appropriation for one or more vehicle purchases. So the question arises, do we have a spreadsheet that shows the total vehicle inventory and primary users of the vehicle, mileage, expected useful life, because the question would be, would it make more sense instead of these vehicle purchases on an ad hoc piecemeal basis, if there's some comprehensive plan to replace the vehicles and maybe get a better price for bulk purchases? And then resolutions 725, 726, and 727 for veterinary services. Obviously, there's no begrudging services for the animals, but it's $385,000. So the question is, are we still servicing other municipalities, and are we getting, if we are we getting adequate revenue from those municipalities to fairly defray the costs of providing the services to the animals? And then I also had a question, as did Councilman Patio, on Resolution 724, professional services. I added it up, it's almost $1.9 million, and it seems that it might make sense to divide the question and scrutinize those vendors and payments more carefully. Okay, 42 resolutions in less than 4 minutes. It worked this time. Thank you.
Anybody else that would have any questions or comments on the resolutions? I'll answer at the end.
Horatio Freeman, Edison, New Jersey. Okay, I hope we do get some answers on the end, because sometimes we really don't. I want to know about the refund. I want to know about the hydrant meter, deposit refund, about the hydrants.
What number is that?
713.
713. What's your question on the hydrant refund?
I want to know about the hydrant, what area is that in that we're refunding on the hydrants, because I heard they were having problems with hydrants. Okay, let me keep going, because you know you got me cut. I'm tough on time. Okay, and then I would like to know about, is 718, is that the funds for the Jackson Avenue or whatever, that the tenants, that the people didn't want? And I want to know about 722, resolution authorizing the use of competitive contracting for health programs for seniors. I want to know if that's a line budget item or whatever. I forgot to bring my, I got a bunch of senior stuff I got to bring to you, but other neighborhoods get. 724, resolution awarding contracts to various firms for professional service. Now, you know, suppose I, you know, what are the names of the firm? What are the firms? Are they the same firm for last year, or we slipped a couple of our friends in? 730, the resolution about the Stout Community Center. We heard all this talk and all these newspaper articles about how this was going to be a cheap deal, and now it's $65,000 just to remove a couple of things. So I would like to know how that ties in with the amount of money, 3.7 or whatever we were supposed to use for that. And the resolution for the contract for the Edison Courts Phase 3. Me, I think it's ridiculous for us to have this many pickleball courts, because it's a fad right now. And tennis and stuff, we're not thinking about our youth, and our youth should have more tennis court, and it should have been more carefully thought out when we were doing these pickleball courts. If I go to other neighborhoods, they have the tennis and they have the pickleball court, so when the fad goes, they'll still have stuff. Number 746, how much furniture are they buying for what? For $66,971 for Department of Public Safety? Are they doing the whole building? I hope they're doing the whole building for that amount of money, but I just want to know. And and the resolution authorizing the transfer of funds for a current fund. I don't understand how we take money and move it around and play with it. So if you can give me some good information on that too, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Charlie, you've been recognized.
Okay.
Good evening, Council. Charlie Cradaville from New Brunswick, editor of New Brunswick Today.
Can you recognize Charlie?
Thanks. I hope you can answer some of these questions in real time. The 9G is various firms. Can you tell me how many of these contracts are for Mr. Michello's firm?
All questions are answered at the end.
Okay, so if I have a follow-up, you'll call me back up? Or?
No, you know.
Okay, why is that?
I mean, that's the practice here. Charlie.
Okay, I mean, I've been here before, sometimes I can get the answer.
Charlie, all the questions are asked, and then they're answered at the end of the public comment session. It's for the benefit of the public that we keep it moving, that's why.
Yeah, I really don't think it is for the benefit of the public, or at least that's not how it works out. And I know that, the time we've spent going back and forth, you could have just answered the question by now, so I wish you would have done that. I'd also like to know the value of the contracts for Mr. Michello's firm that are in this, packed into this mega resolution. And I would also like to ask about the transfers of funds. This is 10G. I'd like to know how much is for police overtime, and I'd like to know what the driving factors are that have led to essentially, Edison PD having to do this transfer. I don't know what the budget is for overtime, but I'd be very curious to see. I think it's a significant amount in here, and I wish you could just answer my questions now, since I have 2.5 minutes and I might have some follow-ups. Could you just answer now real quickly?
Certainly not.
Excuse me. Can I step to the left a little bit?
I believe the council president's the one that makes the call, so.
Already established, all the meetings.
I like that, Jack.
I know, and at the last meeting, to be fair, you made the public wait hours to get answers to the questions, and I don't think that served anyone. That actually made it more adversarial. If you had just engaged in dialogue in real time with your residents and with concerned citizens who come here, I don't see what the harm would be in that. And I understand you got other business going on, so you're not even really paying attention to what I'm saying right now.
I'm following you, Charlie.
Yeah, I'm speaking to the council, sir. I understand you're their lawyer, you're on here to get a big contract, but I'm here speaking to the elected officials, and I'd like to be able to engage, and I'd like for you to explain why Edison PD is in need of this transfer, and how many contracts you have on your agenda for Raynon, Coughlin, and Cello.
I got the answers, I will answer them at the end. Thank you.
At the end of this public comment. At the end of what? At the end of the year?
At the end of public comments.
Okay. So you'll answer Mr. Bassoff's question, Ms. Chip Freeman's questions, and my questions as soon as the last speaker wraps up here.
Yes, correct.
Okay, well, I'll just use my remaining time to note that I think that dialogue is good, and these meetings would go more smoothly, and you would have better relations with your public if you engage with them in real time and, look them in the eye when they're talking to you, and answer questions when they're asked. If you have the answer, it's one thing to say we need time to get the answer. If you have the answer, you should give the answer right away, because then we're all more informed, and then the next speaker has that information when they come up. Or I have my final 30 seconds where I can respond to your response. It seems like the changes made at these meetings are changes that are stifling public comment, that are
Charlie, it's not a change. It's always been this way. You haven't been here, but that's the way it's been done.
I've been coming here for quite a while. And you might not have been at those meetings, but yeah, Mr. Burns was here. And I've spoken before. Sometimes I get the answers right away, and that's always better when it happens. So, and the change I'm talking about, you changed the 4 minutes, you got rid of the rebuttal. It's shameful.
Thank you.
Speaker's time is elapsed. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
I have questions. What's the overtime?
10G.
Thanks.
Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle. I just have one question regarding Article 754. The resolution authorizing the transfer of funds for current fund. Are we allowed to know what is going from where to where?
Yes.
You'll tell me at the end?
Yes. I said, okay, you're recognized. Thank you.
Thank you. Am I recognized?
Name and address?
No, thank you.
All right, recognized.
Thank you.
through the chair to Margot and Councilman AJ Patil, I would like, just like you guys, extend the time for the resolution, but 6 minutes, because it's not that many people here today. 2 extra minutes for each person is not a big deal. 10G, I'm just surprised that you're not even putting the amount.
10G, what resolution number is that?
10G, you're not even putting the amount. Are these?
What resolution number is that? 754. Okay.
10G. Is that for all those cops that were here for those 2 days? That you have to pay them all off for threats that never existed? Is that what it's for? How much is it? Because it should say the amount right here. Why doesn't it say the amount? 400,000? And you guys aren't going to tell us for what? Because of your negligence? Okay. The vehicle, are we purchasing an extra vehicle because Mayor Sam Joshi crashed the last one, allegedly drunk into a female? Right around the corner? Is that what this resolution is for? To buy a new vehicle that Mayor Sam Joshi crashed when he was possibly drunk? And then the investigation wasn't even over, and then a police officer drove a vehicle to the scene and allowed Sam to get in a different township vehicle.
I think we are going off a tangent. If we want to stick to 745,
what I'm trying to say, if the police officers, if a township employee crashes a vehicle, the police officers now, to charge him, he should have been charged under ordinance, he should have been tested, Sam Joshi.
You're more than welcome to talk about resolution 745. I think you're going off on a tangent here, so I would ask you to stay on topic, please.
As a taxpayer, I feel uncomfortable giving more money for another vehicle, because is someone gonna get drunk again and crash that one? So until, Coughlin Law Firm, getting more contracts. When Sam Joshi was a councilman, he tried to transfer the library funds over to BCB Bank, which is a bank owned by Coughlin Law Firm. And I just think there's too much conflict of interest that you guys should be removed out of here. And she knows. She knows. Okay. I'm just looking for another resolution, but I'll talk to myself while I do that. Yeah, I just hope you guys put it 6 minutes. Resolution. Chair Patel, did Councilman or Mayor Sam Joshi, did he crash that vehicle? Was he drunk when he crashed that vehicle?
You're going off of the resolution.
Are we ordering another vehicle because the last one was crashed into a female?
And you are going out of...
No, I'm asking the question, is this
you are
vehicle
more
to
than welcome
replace?
to come back and talk about
No, 36 seconds, I'm asking if is this vehicle to replace the last vehicle that Mayor Sam Joshi crashed into an innocent bystander?
The speaker's out of order.
I'm asking, are we buying this vehicle because the mayor crashed the other vehicle into a civilian? And now this town is facing a lawsuit. It's a yes or no? Your silence speaks volumes, and I'm thinking, yeah, you're buying another vehicle because Sam Joshi crashed the last one while he was drunk. And Edison police allowed him to get away, didn't test him, and then gave him another vehicle to drive away. Thank you, my friend.
Speaker's time's elapsed. Okay, anybody else that had the questions or comments on the resolutions only?
You really should let Nish run the meeting. It's so horrible to watch the lawyer run this meeting. It's happened every
Why should we run the meeting?
Every time.
Sir, you guys are not recognized, please.
I just want to see you run.
If you keep talking, I will have to give you a warning.
Rob Kento, 61 Meadow Road. I think it was Resolution 731, it's the 1810 or 20 Route 27 property. I just want to point out, yes, Joe's right, that property's been vacant since, geez, before I had a driver's license. But, the whole story isn't told, if you're like me and you look at every property deed in town and what's going on, you know that the person who purchased it during COVID. So they didn't own the property for 30 years. So I just want to point that out. He is a resident, so we should make clear that he purchased it recently. And then the town went after them. So here we are. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on resolutions? All right, may I have a second?
Second.
That's a motion by Councilman Coyle, second by Council Vice President. All in favor? Aye. All right, anybody would like to? Actually, the questions, any questions that anybody would like to answer?
To answer from
Sure. So let me first take care of the two. There was a question on 754 of transfer of funds. If you guys do not have access, there's a folder that has essentially this piece that has all of the information as to where the fund is. Who has that folder? Oh, it's all the way in the back over there. So you are more than welcome to look at it. It has exact details of where it's going. It's also on the website. Madam Clerk just informed me that it has all the details as to where it's going from. Same thing with 724, which is the contracts. Again, we didn't list individual stuff because, again, there's just 1, 2, 3 pages of contracts. So if you want to look into further details, all of that information is in the back there, and you can look at it. It's available on the website. You can also go on the website and look at it if you're looking for more details on that particular topics. Anybody else that would like to answer questions? Councilman Quinn?
Sure, Council President. Thank you. In regards to the hydrant meter deposit refund, they give a $5,000 security deposit, and I forget the overall purpose for it, but when they return the meter, the balance minus any escrows get refunded back, so that's what that particular one is, that's 713. The Amboy Avenue revitalization program, this is different, I might have actually.
Yeah, it's not Jackson. 718 is not Jackson.
It's not Jackson Avenue. This is specifically for Amboy Avenue, the main street, whether it's pavers, drainage, general infrastructure on Amboy Avenue. So this is separate from
Just
Jackson
on
Avenue.
that point, I also wanted to add that it's in addition to 1.5 million, so altogether we have 2.5 million for Amboy Ave project. So it's a great thing, and it will also help with creating our sidewalks to be ADA compliant, so that will make it easier for someone who cannot.
The health programs and for the senior citizens, Sonia had provided backup as to what that may include, and it's quite elaborate. It's not just like health in the sense of like going to a doctor, it's mental health, it's physical health, it's preventative health, so it's kind of all encompassing. And this would be coming from the opioid funds, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. So procedurally, we have to go to council in order to go through the competitive bidding process. So the resolution is for you to allow us to be able to go out and get bids.
And Sonia, this essentially doesn't do anything in terms of spending, it just opens up our options, right?
Correct, we have to go out to bid, and so this is what this opens up. So 2 resolutions, one for mental health, and then the other one for senior services, which we thought were prime subject matters for us to provide to our community. And this is all coming from opioid money, not township expenditures.
Okay. You want to continue? Okay.
Thank you, Council President. Professional services, there are some that are added on, some that were removed from a total not to exceed amount though. It is equal to what we had authorized from the last year over year. So that total amount in the sense of the not to exceed standpoint is the same based on my recollection. Likewise on the veterinary services, this is the not to exceed amount is actually a little bit less than what was authorized over the past year. I think by like 20,000, and these 3 vendors have serviced our animal shelter and the animals for a couple of years now, if I recall.
And there was also a question of, do we still service other towns? And I think we updated the amounts to equate, so we're not losing money on this.
Yes, that will be presented to the council at the next meeting. I was working on getting the final numbers. So right now we're just going to service Highland Park and Metuchen, which are directly adjacent to us, which makes a lot more sense from just a practical standpoint. So we did adjust those numbers so that there is no shortfall in those, and that will be presented to you in the next couple weeks.
Thank you. Councilman.
Thank you. The purchase for the Chevrolet Silverado, that's for the Department of Recreation. And because of the events that we have started to set up throughout the year, it's supposed to help move larger equipment.
And
Council President, if I could just add, we do have an asset management, if you will, of all of our vehicles and their life cycle. This just happens to be one that recreation is in need of, but all of our vehicles do have a life cycle to them, and we do work with that list. I know Councilman Brusher has brought it up at several meetings, and I provided that list to him, most recently specific to the fire department.
Yes. I was going to point that out.
And then the last one in regards to the transfer of funds from the current fund, specifically on the police overtime. What we have normally allocated is about 1.1, and in the past we've actually expended about 1.6. So when you include this into the total of it, it's actually less than what we've expended on that line item in the past. What I think the administration has done differently this year is that instead of it being the overall, like, hey, we're transferring from business administrator to police, they are actually breaking down the individual line items, which I do appreciate on that front.
Correct, and we are under about 200,000 in overtime expenses for police.
Let's circle back on that. There was police overtime. There was a question as to what led to that factor of increase.
So there's variable factors, obviously. There are people who have, scheduled PTOs and things like that. There are emergency work that happens. So under the contract that we have with PBA and SOA, where there's a requirement that if they are working outside of their hours or their outside schedules, we are required to pay overtime.
Thank you. Anything else you want to add, Councilman Quinn? Okay. I think there's a couple that you missed. The one on 730, which was the $65,000, the lead, asbestos and lead base. Can we talk about as to what's the total funding of it and how does that work?
Sure. So because of the age of the building, we are required to do asbestos remediation. And so this is why it's coming to the council in order for us to get that done, to start working on the interior of the building. As you know, we've been working on the exterior of the building. So
this is the next step.
Exactly. And we do look forward to, as an administration, to provide the special needs programming at that building. That's what it will in part be dedicated to.
Okay. And then there was another question on the Edison Courts Phase 3. What do you have?
Council President, the next lowest bid, and sorry, I accidentally overlapped on that one. The next lowest bid was about $250,000 over that amount, and I have it right here. There were 6 bids received. The overall projects is for 2 new fenced-in pickleball courts at Hill Park, refurbishing 2 existing courts at Lakewood Park, that's basketball and tennis. Edison Woods, installation of 1 new tennis court, basketball court, and 1 pickleball court. Oak Crest Swim Club, which we had mentioned, the existing basketball court and the pickleball course. May Street, this is essentially resurfacing the basketball court, and Capestrel Park, which is resurfacing and improving the 2 basketball courts there.
I think we covered all questions. I think we covered it. All right. Moving on.
My questions.
To acknowledge Christo, there was a question with regard to the law firm, and I can certainly answer that. So there's 1 contract, and that's for township attorney, and also they work as labor counsel. So they would work, again, as they have in the last 3 years that I've been here, to do those 2 functions.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to anybody.
Any crash the car?
Alright, so anybody who would like to pull anything for a separate vote? Councilman Pato?
719, 720, 724, hopefully we can table this one. 730.
Council President?
Councilman Quinn?
Sorry, I'm just trying to find it. What numbers?
He pulled 719, 720, 724, and 730.
That much?
730. Councilman Quinn, sorry.
Thank you, 732 and 740 through 744.
Council President, 750.
Okay, so we have pulled 719, 720, 724, 730, that's by Councilman Pato. And then 732, 740, 741, 744 actually. So 740 to 744. Have been pulled by Councilman Pointer. And then Councilman Coyle has pulled 753. Okay, so consent agenda is going to be, I'm just going to say 711 through 754 minus 719, 720, 724, 730, 732, 740, 741, 742, 743, 744, and 753. All right, may I get a motion to?
Council President, just to correct, 717 is not on the agenda, right?
Yes, it's not.
Yes. Thank you. Motion to approve?
Second.
So that's a motion to approve by Councilman Pato and second by Council Vice President. Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Councilmember Coyle?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Patil?
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer?
Yes.
Council President Patel?
Yes, and we'll just start on order. Councilman Pato, 719, 720, do you want to do it together?
I'll go it together, 719, 720. Thank you, Council President, for your consistent follow-up on this bike path. Very happy to see something coming up. It's, I believe, these are the state grants. Thank you to our Senator Pat Diagran, Assemblyman Karaminchek, as well as Assemblyman Sturdy Stanley for their support and your vision. And hopefully we can execute this project as soon as we receive the money. Thank you again, good job on that.
Thank you, Councilman. And you want to
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve 719, 720? Okay.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, that's motion by Councilman Pato and second by Council Vice President.
719 and
And
720 together.
Yeah.
Councilmember Councilmember Coyle?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Patil?
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer?
Yes.
Council President Patel?
Yes. All right. Councilman Pato, I'll let you take 724, 750.
The reason I'm not comfortable is first is the timing and the clubbing, all of those. As well, I did see the name of the vendor who was supposed to recover the money because it caused change order. And you can watch, it's on recording, council recording. So that's the reason my ask is to table this ordinance so that we can have resolution so that we can get into the details of all the vendors. We will have enough time to vet out whether that particular vendor or vendors are really not good and we can split those contracts. Thank you, Council.
Any other council members on 724?
I'll second it and offline.
Any comments?
Oh, comments, I'm sorry. Just in general, what, in follow-up to what you just mentioned, I can elaborate more because I have similar questions.
My bad. So that's second, motion by Councilman Pato, second by Councilman Quinn.
To table, right?
This is table.
Can we establish a date, say, for the January 8th meeting?
Yeah. I think motion table to January 8th. Councilman Coyle?
Okay, Councilman Coyle? Is the motion to
To
table?
Yes.
table to January
Yes,
8th.
to table.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Patil?
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer?
Yes.
Council President Patel?
Yes. All right, 7:30, Councilman Platt?
Council President, again, thank you. This is very important that finally, we started the indoor work. But is this, my question is this the final lead-based type of work or any contamination or anything that matters inside? Is that the last one before we start anything?
So, Sonia, the question is, are we gonna be, once we do this, is it gonna cover the whole property? Is there anything else that we're missing?
This is for the entire property for the asbestos cleanup.
Okay, thank you, Council President. I move the motion to approve this.
All right, that's a motion to approve. May I have a second?
Second.
All right, that's a motion by Councilman Patel, second by Council Vice President. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Coyle?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris? Yes. Councilmember Patil?
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer?
Yes.
Council President Patel?
Yes. All right, moving on to Councilman Pointer, 7:32.
I would just like to motion to table this to the January 8th meeting, because, again, my understanding is that usually there's an actual, a different form of the redevelopment plan. I appreciate the administration getting me the schematics of what could potentially go there, but from a process standpoint, I'm familiar with seeing the actual documented plan.
But do you want to put a timeline? I'm not sure. Sonia, when do you think, would you have it by January 8th?
I can certainly try, and if I don't, then I will let you know. I'll communicate with you that we don't have it.
I would say let's not put a date, because if we put it for that date, then it'll come back and then we'll have to, so let's just leave it off the table and then bring it when they're ready.
As your counsel, I would recommend that as well. I think unless we have a date certain, like the professional services, I would recommend that we just table it and the administration will bring it back when the documents are ready.
I'm fine with that.
That's perfect, thank you.
I second. All right, so that's a motion by Councilman Pointer, second by Councilman Patel. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Coyle?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Patil?
Yes, to table.
Councilmember Pointer?
Yes.
Council President Patel?
Yes. Okay, 7:40 to 44. Do you want to do it together or separate?
Yeah, together. I'm just, me, myself, my daughter's in the program, so like, I don't want it to be against anything. I don't think there's an actual conflict, but that's the reason I'm just going to abstain from that.
So you're, okay.
Just because my daughter's in.
Okay, that's fine. So
Motion to approve.
motion to approve, any second?
Second.
So that's motion to approve by Councilman Patel, second by Council Vice President. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Coyle?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Patil?
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer?
Abstain.
Council President Patel?
Yes. All right, and the last one, Councilman Coyle, 7:53.
I just wanted to thank William Thomas for being appointed back onto the Housing Authority. He's been a great member and a part of the community in the North End section for decades. Once a great athlete back in the day and inspiration to the community. So I'm happy to see him get reappointed, and I thank those who supported him in the past, and I'm looking forward to voting yes for this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. May I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
May I have a second?
Second.
That's a motion to approve by Councilman Coyle, second by Council Vice President. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Coyle?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Patil?
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer?
Yes.
Council President Patel?
Yes. Okay, moving on to, I think that's business. Moving on to number 22. This will now open the public list.
Our time now. Not an information session.
And I do want to recognize Assemblyman Joe Danielson, that's who's in the public, the Assemblyman 17th District. All right, starting off with Joel Bassoff. Where's Joe? He's not, okay. Edward Grimes.
Good evening, Council. Edward Lefty Grimes with SativaCross.org. We're a 501c3 here in New Jersey, fighting for Canada's patients' rights and the rights of the disabled. I want to talk about a few things I saw the last meeting that really upset me, and I'm trying really hard to be calm and not freak out. I know what would Jesus do? Would he turn the other cheek or would he turn the tables? And I really feel like turning tables because what I saw the last 2 meetings was absolutely disgusting how the disabled were treated. I believe it's a Title II violation. I believe if you look up Title II of the ADA, there's a process for changing. You actually took away disability access.
We don't have the quorum.
Oh, yes, yeah, I'm sorry, we lost the quorum. Yeah. Can you please stop?
Wait.
You lost a quorum?
Yes. Yes, we no longer have a quorum. If you could just wait 1 second.
Sure.
Thank you.
Constitution. Well done.
Boy, how did you know that? You kept
All right out of the process.
You let them go and have an illegal meeting? You want to let them keep going?
Well, this is awkward.
Maybe you should just reset his time and let him start over.
Hey, can I start over now? I lost my flow and everything.
I'm really sorry, we can't.
No?
Fifteen second courtesy, you couldn't go. You're not showing us at the podium.
Yeah.
Well, have some courtesy. Have courtesy, because you please. But Neil, they're only showing the council members.
I really lost my place when I was speaking to.
Can we restore some of this time? Is it possible to restore some of this?
Violations.
It would be a violation.
I don't even know where I left
What
off.
ordinance would you be in violation of?
No.
Specify the ordinance.
Second time that this.
Oh.
Free speech.
I don't even know what to say now.
Council Vice President, perhaps a recess in order? Recess for 5 minutes?
Can't do it. Can't do it without a quorum.
Walking right out.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Nish, they're not showing the people at the podium.
Madam Clerk, if we could restore the time. I mean, I'm sorry, no, we could keep it on. Excuse me.
All right, so what I saw the last 2 meetings was absolutely disgusting. Title II violation. You took away disability access, and you guys are the last bastion for our disability access for disabled people. You guys. If the mayor gives you a bad order to the police chief has to stand up and say, hey, this is an unconstitutional order. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to send a bunch of sick disabled people, disabled vets, up a 100-foot incline with no railings and no lights. That's what happened last time. And it was very upsetting to see that poor man in the wheelchair force himself up that ramp. I'd like to see some of you get in a wheelchair and go up that ramp. I really would. Because that was absolutely disgusting. That is not an acceptable ramp. It's an incline. It's a half a mountain over there. And our disabled vets deserve better. You have the police. I'm really upset. You got 40 cops here. And I really like some of the cops here. But you got 40 cops here. And you always say, see something, say something. Not one officer said, hey, look, we're doing to these disabled people. Look what we're doing. We're making them suffer more than they have to. Why are we putting the last? We should put the last first. But you said, I'm not sure, maybe you guys were looking out the window laughing, I don't even know. But that's the kind of energy disabled people think that able people have. Because we all think the world's laughing at us. Because they are, a lot of people are laughing at us, and they're bullying us. We don't like being bullied. And we'll stand up to any bully. That was disgusting. So I went to my church on Sunday, and I was really stressed out over this whole situation here, because this means a lot to me. The reason why I'm here on this earth is from God to do this kind of stuff, because God gave me this time. I don't work anymore. I'm disabled. I could be home sitting down smoking a bong, but I'd rather be here fighting for disabled rights. This is more important, and this is why I'm here. And that's why your boss gave me that award, because I fight for disabled people. And I think Craig Coughlin should get involved and fix some of the problems here. You got no button working in the police station. The button to get out of the building doesn't work. This whole mess here, and the fact that you had officers put in a bad position to violate, to a human rights violation. That was a human rights violation. It was absolutely disgusting. So when I went to church, I was all stressed out, and I said, you know what, let me go relax for a while. And I went, and sure enough, when I pulled in, there was a trailer and a porta-john parked in a disabled spot. And I was like, so I had to miss a couple of worship songs and deal with that. And And a lot of times you'll see that people plow the snow, and this winter you see people plowing snow and disabled parking spots, so look out for that as well. Hope this works. This is called What the Hell Patel. What the hell, Patel? You turned your council into a circus. What the hell, Patel? You came this close to banning Gherkins. What the hell, Patel? You made a one-legged girl go up an incline. What the hell, Patel? Edison thinks you've lost your mind. What the hell, Patel? What the hell, Patel? What the hell, Patel? You burned this town to the ground. What the hell, Patel? What the hell, Patel? What the hell, Patel? The town's gonna grin, it's gonna be shorted up big. What the hell, Patel? Thank you.
Speaker's time is up. Sir, do you turn off the music? Thanks.
That's what the First Amendment sounds like.
That's what the First Amendment sounds like.
Krista?
Can you sit next to for us?
Really? Christmas song.
Am I recognized?
You're recognized.
Okay. You're not showing the public. The last time you guys took a vote that you were gonna show the public, Edison TV's not doing its job. Margot, you said.
I'm sorry, Krista, I don't mean to interrupt you, but it
You
is
are
a short
interrupting me.
form.
Through the chair to council.
We can view you on TV, Krista.
Through the chair to councilwoman. You guys don't answer questions until the end. Through the chair to Councilwoman Margot, you said on Facebook several times that you were gonna push forward a resolution to put the meeting minutes back to 6. You haven't done so. You haven't even spoke up on it to try to do it during the resolutions, so that's what's going on here. Councilman Patel? I'm not even gonna call you Council President. You know what, I'm just gonna call you Mr. Patel. So, Mr. Patel, your disgraced apology that you gave at the start of the meeting, Sam Joshi threw you under the bus, now you're trying to cover up for Sam Joshi that he had you guys do try to pass unconstitutional laws, to target me, to target one man. They should put you in federal prison for doing that? Yeah, you're looking at the time, but they should put you in federal prison for doing that? Absolutely disgusting. All the police officers refused for disabled people to come in. That just speaks volumes to their character. The Nazi-like atmosphere that we have here in Edison, New Jersey, I just follow orders. Those are my orders. Good job, good job. But again, I think you're a scumbag, Councilman Patel. You had men with guns constantly remove me for doing my constitutionally protected activity. One time, Councilman Pointer called the fake point of order just because I said the BA shouldn't get a raise. So that just goes to show you, you guys were just targeting me. And you guys kept getting away with it because people out in the public kept on allowing it until they didn't allow it anymore. So you banned the American flag. It just shows how stupid you are. You're supposed to be a councilman in the United States of America, and here you go, you ban the American flag. A real genius you are. And you go up there saying, oh, well, it's okay I broke federal law. That's what you say, because it's a process, it's a learning experience. If you don't know how to do the job, resign. You just admitted at the start of the meeting you don't know how to do your job. Because you're an idiot. You removed people, you made this town look like the biggest Nazis. The only thing I'm ashamed of is, there we go. You see Boylan's recording again? You made this town look like the biggest Nazis. And the only thing I'm ashamed of, I know you and Mayor Joshi are scumbags and are just gonna keep doing what you're doing. I'm more ashamed with the Edison police because I really believe that you guys would have put a stop to it at some point. But again, internal affairs didn't even. I went to internal affairs, I complained to internal affairs. And you know what they do? They gaslight you. They say, how can you put us in this position? Just do what you're supposed to do, even if it's unlawful, even if they're bullying you. It's my fault. It's my fault for doing, that's how your police department treats the residents. Still not one report that I ever did is finished. They're waiting for me to be charged falsely, unlawfully. So this way they don't have to do their IA complaints, they can just claim that I was guilty. Why in 3 years not one of my IA complaints was done through the chair, Chief Bryan? Why in 3 years not one of my IA complaints was done? Why wasn't my IA complaint for the predator capture case done? You're a piece of shit.
Speaker's not so loud.
Leroy Truth.
Hello, everyone.
Name and address, please.
Leroy Truth Investigations, my YouTube channel, Leroy Truth Investigations. And over there is Chief Tom Bryan, and unfortunately, you're a scumbag. Now, why would I say that? I revealed a couple weeks ago that I interviewed a woman who alleges that Mayor Sam Joshi anally raped her. I put this video on YouTube. I was told that Art Cifelli has a private investigator investigating me, trying to expose me to get me to stop. Now, ironically, I posted a video about a week ago that highlighted this police department. And it highlighted a phenomenal police officer who at a Board of Education meeting a few years ago, when he was told point blank by the president of the Board of Education to remove a man from the meeting for saying something the president didn't like. A police officer, I think his name was Officer Stout, he point blank refused, and he protected that man's constitutional rights. I was blown away because my channel is dedicated to exposing, investigating and exposing corrupt mayors, and investigating and exposing police officers who violate our rights, and celebrating those who support them. Now, that video that I posted to celebrate the police department here got almost 250,000 views in the last week. People are celebrating all over the world. Officer Stout, I called you. This past Friday, I left a message. You did not get back to me. I wanted to hear the feedback of all the people who may have called in to celebrate Officer Stout. However, case in point, this is the reality of many in the police department. Officer Contreras right here. I showed him the video. I said, hey, see this video where I celebrate good police officers, because I do. Like the Union City police officers in New Jersey. They're awesome, overall. However, you know what Officer Contreras said? I said, if one of you violate our rights and tell him to remove us or arrest us if we say something you don't like, I said, would you also do what Officer Stout did? And this is the culture of Mr. Chief Tom Bryan. He says, no, I'm recently off probation. My family comes first. I said, your family comes first over protecting our constitutional rights? That's what's wrong here. So, if you want to have a conversation, I will be happy to talk with you and to do First Amendment training to change this attitude. And lastly, with a little bit of time here, the mayor was accused of anally raping an Edison woman. This was on the Edison, New Jersey taxpayers' Facebook. As a mother, I am absolutely disgusted and horrified by the conversation I had with my daughter who is in 6th grade. She came to me after watching a video about a survivor of Mayor Sam Joshi and her struggles with the serious, heinous allegations against him. The video was deeply disturbing, and my daughter asked me, how was it possible for a man like that to stay out of prison? And since you've taken 2 minutes of our time away today, by a show of hands, how many of you, after 2 weeks, say it is wrong for a man to rape a woman in Edison, New Jersey? Show it, clear hands.
Council President, point of order.
Stop talking, I'm talking.
There's no reason he should be doing the survey.
Now, how many of you are willing to investigate Mayor Sam Joshi without getting so rape? Stop, give me my time back. I want 30 seconds back.
You will not, sir.
I want 30 seconds.
You will not.
Lawyers, stop talking. I want 30 seconds back. How many of you are willing to investigate Sam Joshi?
Do surveys, sir.
Too late. Margot Harris, good job. You were the only one with courage here. And you interrupted me.
Your time is up. Time is up.
Your time is up. And I want my 30 seconds back.
Your time is up.
He interrupted me.
take this as a warning. If you continue, I will have you removed. Please sit down.
Do it.
Okay.
Council President, let's just give the 30 seconds.
No, the time is up, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Coyle.
Violation of our ordinance.
No. He interrupted me. I was
Officers,
speaking.
please remove him.
I was speaking. Now this is your opportunity to stand down.
Council President,
He interrupted me. I want my 30 seconds back.
Will he
And
sit
Coyle,
down?
get your hands off me. Get your hands off me. Coyle said I can have 30 seconds
Sit
back.
down. Why don't you sit down?
May I get a motion for a 5 minutes?
Stand down. Stand down.
Motion to recess.
Second. All in favor?
Coyle said I get 30 seconds back.
Meeting stands in recess for 5 minutes. All right, may I get a motion to reconvene?
Motion to reconvene.
I have a motion to reconvene by Councilman, Council Vice President. May I have a second?
That's out of control. You can't do motion.
Councilman Pointer, this motion reconvenes at 8:05 p.m.
Assemblyman.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
May I have a second? There's a motion to adjourn by Councilman Vice President, second by Councilman Pointer. All in favor?
Liberty Council adjourned.
Meeting stands adjourned at 8:05 p.m.
Oh, we got things to say. How dare you?